first, when I first came, I didn't know anybody. I went to attend a course at SEED. I met a few people. I then met June at the Parent Center, and she offered me a space to do some workshops for gumboot class every week.
For me, City of Sanctuary is about a city which creates an atmosphere of welcome to refugee and asylum seekers in particular, but because of that, being a city of welcome to everybody, those who live here, work here and visit as well. When people join the Peering Centre, they're told all you have to do is take care of everyone who walks through the door. I think Bristol's already got so good an infrastructure of many, many organisations that are doing fantastic projects and fantastic work with refugee and asylum seekers. I think it's vital to recognise that to become a City of Sanctuary has taken 2 years and enormous numbers of people on a steering committee, all really committed. So for me, City of Sanctuary and the arrival at City of Sanctuary is so much about a team effort of some wonderfully committed and passionate people.
Bristol Refugee Rights is working in 2 ways. Our aims are to provide practical support, practical emotional support to asylum seekers and refugees, and also to campaign for the human rights of asylum seekers and refugees. So the community is very diverse, and it's become a place where people feel that they can just relax, meet friends, and be a human being for a few hours in the week. And the importance of that is, I think it's not underestimated, really. We feel instinctively that this range of diversity is healthy and it's wholesome, and it makes us feel good.
I like the Dorpy Center. In Tibet is no freedom, no independence, and you do something to protest the Chinese government, and the Chinese government you can't live there. That's where, and then I need to come here, this country. In here, everybody's volunteer job, and then study English and speak. Everything is very good, useful.
We host destitute asylum seekers in homes across Bristol, and there are about 6 people currently hosted, with about 2,000 nights where people have been staying with somebody. We feel that they deserve sanctuary, not to be cast out of where on the streets of Bristol.
I came to Bristol in April last year. I come here is really, I can see is very kind of mixed society from many different ethnic minority and different country and different culture you can see, and it's very nice. And I'm really happy when I heard about Bristol Hospitality Network, which is the project, is really excited for me, and I find it's very nice and very rewarding job to do it, which is a very good organization, which is they will help the people who have no place to stay, like the refugee or the asylum seeker.
We've tried to create here at St Nick's a place of welcome and a place of healing for people who come with very broken stories. Well, the first thing is that the word sanctuary has a very long history. In the Middle Ages, it was the fact that the law and the practice recognized that churches were a place of safety, and people who were taking refuge, perhaps from the law, perhaps from other reasons, could find safety and the opportunity to rebuild their lives in the church. We here at St Nick's believe strongly that we need a 21st century version of that. And here we have, in very practical terms, we have on occasions given that kind of medieval sanctuary to 1 or 2 individuals, a young woman from Rwanda, a couple from Latin America, and stopped them being deported as a result. When they're simply statistics and not wanted, then it's such a waste of opportunity for the city of Bristol.
The Asylum Seeker Allotment Project started nearly 2 years ago. It's a very practical, tangible thing of having a place where asylum seekers who may be on a £30 Tesco voucher or no support at all can come and grow quality vegetables and eat them, and that means their voucher will go further or they'll have something to give their host family. It's a place to come and meet people and make friends with other asylum seekers and with the locals who come and volunteer here. But it's very much alongside, so you don't necessarily have to make friends or talk. It's a nice, gentle, easy place to do that.
City of Bristol College reels very strongly about the relationship with students, particularly who've had a refugee or asylum seeker background. We have a lot of students here who've had a very difficult journey to come here, and actually the City of Sanctuary will actually add a great deal to them. We will be a hub, a sanctuary hub for students across the city and learners across the city who've had that difficult journey, and so that we then interact with other people across the city to make sure that we were exchanging views and developing something here that was a really good offer for students. Recently we had students who actually wrote a newsletter which actually highlighted some of their journeys, and those students actually interacted on the media, so that they were part of radio shows in Bristol Community Radio, and they were not only telling their own stories but actually operating the radio station as well and working in collaboration with them. So that was a really good example of how you go outside of the college.
The Bristol Bike Project is a volunteer-run community bike project. We've currently given out close to 400 bicycles now, and we try and reuse as much as possible. The emphasis here is really on reusing where we can. The Bristol Bike Project started 2 years ago. I was volunteering at the Bristol Refugee Rights Welcome Centre and became aware of a sort of need for transport for people who were living a long way out of the city centre, and yet a lot of the activities were right in the city centre themselves, so they were walking for a couple of hours at a time. So a friend and I came up with the idea. We started advertising for bicycles, unwanted bicycles, and they started coming in, and we sort of started getting on with it, fixing them up, and the whole thing sort of snowballed and grown and evolved along the way. A really important aspect of the project is the sort of social cohesion that comes from members of the general public, and all sorts of demographics of people coming into contact and working on bikes together. It's such a leveller working on bikes, and that's a really exciting thing. And I think through direct contact, especially given such sort of bad press that these groups of people get, that's a really positive and exciting way of breaking down some of that misinformation and moving forward.
I'm going to write some notes, and then we'll have a look and see what we can do for you next.
Our purpose, our whole purpose, is to work for people who've had to flee the horrors of persecution. City of Sanctuary is a good thing because it's a movement and not an authoritarian organisation. It's not about anybody telling anybody else what to do or what to think, and it's only as strong or weak as we make it. So it's about all of us together, and every organisation or group or individual who decides to support City of Sanctuary supports it in their own way.
The City of Sanctuary is going to be a really important part of our community cohesion strategy. All the people who are working with refugees and asylum seekers will be brought together. It's going to also mean that the City Council will be in a stronger position to support this activity. I certainly have visited some of the drop-in centres, and I've met some of the refugees and asylum seekers. I've heard some stories that I think would shock people if they became aware of what some of the people who've come here have actually had to go through, and some of the very courageous acts that they've taken in getting here. And I feel that the volunteers and all who are offering this service really do need our support and encouragement, and I know that we on the City Council want to do everything we can to support that.
Bristol is a city with a very significant history within this whole sanctuary dialogue, in the sense that it was such a centre of slavery, and I believe that as a city you are very deliberately moving against that history and putting up, if you like, the opposite spirit. I'm really humbled and excited by the kinds of things I have seen going on.
Bristol has been very accommodating, because since I came to Bristol back in 2000, I've never moved out of Bristol. I've lived here since then, and it feels like my home now.